Welcome to Foosball, where you can't get CTE if you're always concussed. Now, you might be concussed just from watching football, or just thinking about football might make you concussed at this point. Down is up, left is right. Jackson Dart, the best quarterback in the history of the NFL.
I'm pretty sure we all have CTE, or it's called being 40, because this is also called offensive, not foosball. But like,
that's true, right? Yeah. I can't remember what show we're on.
We've been headbutting way too much, is what's been happening.
When in the pre-show, when we get ready for the show, all we do is just headbutt each other. It's all we do.
I mean, we've been doing that.
It works. Like, it gets results. You know what I mean? You can beat the Philadelphia Eagles by 20 points.
Yeah, Scadaboo stole that.
Super amazing show. We're going to talk about the upcoming games this weekend. And, we can talk a little bit about that game too. But we'll have Neckbeard's going to guide us through this weekend's upcoming games.
All right, so let's pull up the schedule because I want to kind of take a look at it. So, yes, we all know the Eagles finally got what was coming to them. They lost barely in Denver last week. But let's be honest, they kind of almost lost to the Rams. They almost lost to the Chiefs, right? They almost lost to
and if you remember 2 years ago, they totally fell apart. Like, not last year they won the Super Bowl, but 2 years ago they fell apart and couldn't win a game when they just got one off the rails.
Saquon has not gotten going all year, and it's continuing to happen. So I don't know if he's going to get going.
Teams know they can't throw the ball deep, right? They just load the box against Saquon.
Well, they don't throw the ball mid either. So it's like, if you only have to cover short and deep passes, like, that's pretty easy to go against. And, you know, they did that to an effect last year, but when you're running for 6.5 yards a carry, like, that opens up the game.
It's true. Their offense is like under 1 yard. It's their
it's bad. Right? Yeah. So go Jackson Dart and Scadaboo. The Giants are fun to watch now. Like, they haven't been fun to watch in like 10 years, I feel like. So it's nice that the Giants
forever. The Eli Manning offense.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Well, that was never fun to watch. One thing about Saquon is he's the classic 2,000-yard rusher who had 480 touches last year. And every time you have a running back with over 300 touches, they always step down the next year.
Yep.
Partner with that is their offensive line. They lost Mekhi Becton, who was their guard. He looked fantastic last year. They had another player who was out. So the offensive line, they're not as cohesive as they were last year. They all got a year older. So everyone's getting a year older. So it'd be nice to be frozen in time to be elite. But eventually, if you don't have something to mix it up. So I think that's part of why we're seeing the Eagles, fall flat a little bit. I don't know that Saquon's going to be able to bounce back this year. He might just be what he is right now. And next year could be his bounce back, but he's old, man.
Yeah.
For what his body did last year.
Some 120-yard games or some 2-touchdown games, but that was the norm last year, to where now it's going to be the outlier, right? The norm seems like 80 to 90 total yards or something like that.
So last night, Scadaboo got 3 touchdowns, right? And realistically, if they weren't already winning and blowing them out with the 2-minute drill, he had a shot to pull an Al Bundy and go for 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, so he's played 6 games. He's had a 3-touchdown game already. How many 3-touchdown games do you think Saquon Barkley has had? 3 rushing touchdowns.
In this year, you mean?
No, like in his career.
In his career, in 90-plus games. It's somewhere between 90 and 100 games. How many 3-touchdown?
Like 3 or 4?
2.
None.
That doesn't sound right at all.
He was playing behind the New York Giants offensive line for a number of years.
Yeah.
And he's been playing against this elite offensive line. He's never had 3 rushing touchdowns. Bring in the human brick wall. It's just a crazy, goofy ass stat. But yeah, Scadaboo, the greatest running back in the NFL for Giants fans. It's just a fun, weird stat. That's why.
Yeah, that is a weird
fun game. My son woke up yesterday morning. He's like, "Oh, what's the game tonight? Oh, are the Giants going to be good?" I'm like, "Nah, it's probably I should go to bed at the same time as you guys." And my son was right. He's like, "No, I think the Giants have a shot." Sure.
Yeah, the Giants kind of owned them the whole second half. They owned them. It wasn't even close, really. I mean, they just kept, getting better and better and into the game. And to go back to Saquon, I know he's had 3 touchdown games, but I think it's because of passing or receiving and rushing touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's never been just 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That is a cool stat, though. That's really interesting. So go Scatterboo. All right, so let's move on. Good job, Giants. Eagles fall back down to earth. They're 4-2. Now we got the team that beat them last week, the Broncos, going against the disgustingly ugly Jets and the worst defense I've seen all year, and that includes the Ravens, who don't have most of their starters. So, Doug, what's Denver saying about this game? Do they think the Broncos are going to win 87-0?
Denver Bronco radio and fans love to talk up the other team to prepare to get get crushed by a shitty team. You know what I mean? Radio is all like, hey, you think the Jets are bad, but they're actually really good. They should actually be 3-2. Here's some stats that show the Jets are really elected. They have the third best rushing offense in the league and blah, blah, blah. They're like, if you actually watch the games, the Jets are super good. And it's like, bro, if you're a real legit good NFL team, the Jets should not concern you whatsoever. Of course, you don't want to overlook them, but you shouldn't be talking up how great the Jets are. If you're a top 5, maybe top 7 NFL team, you should crush the Jets. They're just the most dysfunctional, terrible. Their defense isn't even good. So yeah, right now the Broncos are kind of in that mode where they're they can't decide whether they're a good team or not. They're not really sure.
Well, you know what's funny too is everyone's like, oh, that's the signature win, the win against the Eagles last week that they pulled off at the end.
But now they got crushed by the Giants.
Yeah, and the Eagles were stepping on their own feet most of that game. That ended up causing the Broncos to win. So the Eagles kind of got in their own way, and then a Giants team that has not looked very good all year, except for the Chargers game. To be fair, they did look pretty good in that. They just went out and rocked the Eagles. So it's that Broncos win seems way less impressive. Immediately, it seems
it's one of those teams where games where the Broncos have a lot of talent on defense, right? Defense secondary, and it's I don't know if the Broncos are coached well or they're figured it out yet. They're just relying on their team, and Bo Nix and kind of Jackson Dart are kind of similar, where they're just here and there making a few really nice plays, and the other team is not. So you do give them credit. But they're not. No one's literally saying here Jackson Dart's a top 5 NFL quarterback, even though he looked like one last night, right?
I mean, for what he's doing in that offense is what I think Dave said it, and I hate to admit it, but he is a better version of Daniel Jones because he's running the ball when he needs to. He's not throwing for a ton of yards. But, when the running game works in New York, it makes everything else function. So.
And Bo Nix is kind of doing that a little bit with the Broncos too, though.
Yeah,
kind of quarterback.
But so do you think the Broncos win in a blowout? Do you think it's a close game? Because this is an international game, guys. And international games are crazy. I feel like it could be literally the Jets could win by 15. It's international games make no sense. All kinds of weird stuff happens.
And the Broncos just don't have enough talent to blow out teams, really, unless they're getting they have to really, just have one of those games where they're playing out of their minds, but they don't really.
But we still think the Broncos are going to pull this one out. Are we all saying Broncos?
Yeah, I say Broncos. It'll be closer than it should be just because everyone's going to be all jet lagged from having to go over the pond.
Yeah, I don't know. The Jets, I don't think they're going to lose 16 games. I think
Denver's favored by almost a touchdown, and I almost would take that points there. I think the Jets keep it
I take the points. And the funny thing is when they try to say, the Jets, they aren't that bad. Their rushing offense is awesome. The Bears had the same thing when they had Justin Fields because he adds on yards, that your running backs don't have. But the detriment to that is your passing game is also bottom 3 in the league.
Exactly. I was going to say, if you got Justin Fields, you have to be a top 5 rushing team because you're a bottom 10 passing team.
And Fields has finally figured out how to bait the guys to come up on the run and then throw it, actually, because he used to be not so good. So he's improved a little bit in that area.
Sure.
And he used to be not so good. He's still not so good from the passing standpoint.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Seahawks Jaguars, which I think is an awesome matchup, honestly. After the Jags go and beat Kansas City, Seahawks barely lose to Bake Show, right? But again, before that game, Seahawks had the lowest points allowed in the league because their defense is pretty good. Jags defense has been really good. So, I mean, what do we think about this one? Because honestly, this is one of those games where I see two teams that are on the cusp of being good or are we sure they're good? And it's going to be either really interesting if it's a really close game or maybe one team dominates. But I think I'm taking Seattle in this game. I think after the win over Kansas City and the Trevor Lawrence greatest play of the season, but fumble style moment.
Right.
I think the Jags might slip up a little bit here, so I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Seattle and Sam Darnold have just a little bit more he's taller maybe, but Sam Darnold I just trust a little bit more.
Horse base is 6'6".
Yeah,
He's got a long face.
No
That's
more.
a fact. He does. He does got a long face. He's a beautiful man, though. Come on, we all know
He's
it. But dude, honestly, I feel like if the Jags win this, just like the Colts, I got to be like, damn, this team might be good. And even though Seattle's not like a top tier team, these are the games at home that you have to win when you're good. Do you know what I mean? Like against competition that's equal to you. If you're at home, you're supposed to win these games. So I think
Hype, you like Seahawks?
I think the Seahawks would win this game, but I would not be shocked if Jacksonville figures out a way, because I feel like it's one of those Seattle's one of those teams where like we're not sure how really good they are. Like they going to play down the competition? Like not to say that Jacksonville's bad,
right.
but like you might overlook Jacksonville and might end up losing.
Well, that's the hell of it though, because I think before the season we both have been in like 2 500 teams, but now you see both of these teams and they're playing smash mouth defense. They're playing really interesting offenses right now. Even though the top 2 wide receivers who we imagine as being the top 2 wide receivers for the Jags, they're not playing like we thought they would. They're getting enough from the peripherals and whatnot. ETN, seeing him resurrect his season, I think that's going to be interesting. And you might say, maybe they have a little bit of letdown because maybe they got so hyped for playing the Chiefs last week.
Right.
But at the same time, you also have the Seahawks where they're butthurt because they had an amazing game last week and they came short in the end. That was at home, right?
Yeah,
so I think they could. I think that they could be angry.
Yeah.
But
now this is a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast in the morning, Dave. I know you hate that, and that.
Oh, this isn't just staying on the same latitude. This is way up here, flying down there, so that adds an extra hour and a half of jet lag.
Yep.
Which, again, that used to be a thing, and there's so many interesting aspects to this, and I think both of these teams are like tier 2. Who I think everyone would agree are maybe tier 2 teams now. You didn't think that they were elite before the season, but now they both kind of played their way up, and now we can kind of see, okay, we're definitely going to put one of them at the top of the tier 2. Maybe this isn't enough to put one in the tier 1, but who the hell knows? The way that this season has been going, I think this is a fantastic game of the week. This is a great litmus test for both teams. And the Jags, they're not going to rest on the laurels. They want to defend the home turf. So I think they're going to eke it out, but I think this could be one of those where it's like 25-27, some crazy game, high scoring. It'll come down to the end, and it's just going to be a mad game. It's a great way to start the day because I'm not going to get up early to watch that London game. I'm sorry, or wherever that game is played. I think this is a great way to kick off the day.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to this game. So let me kind of group the next couple. So Chargers, Dolphins, Rams, Baltimore, Cardinals, Colts, and I'll even throw Patriots, Saints in there. Now, those games seem like there should be an obvious and clear better team, right? So I guess my question is for those 4 games, which seem pretty obvious, like Chargers are definitely better. The Ravens look terrible, so the Rams should smoke them. We've agreed the Colts are legit, so they should absolutely beat the Cardinals no matter what. And based on the way the Patriots looked last week against the Bills and the week before against the Jaguars, I believe, or the Panthers, excuse me, they've looked pretty good. They should go beat the Saints. Do we see any of those 4 games where the team that shouldn't win actually has a chance? Because I've got one, and I'm curious if you guys see any of those 4 quote-unquote not good teams winning any of these games.
I think that the quote-unquote Chargers are in trouble right now. They could like lose a game here. They're kind of falling apart and losing some of their key players, and like all these players that stepped up and played well in the first week of the season. The Chargers might be kind of the team like similar to the Saints last year, where the first 4 games they look great, and then the rest of the season they're just super mid.
They didn't look great last week. I mean, no running back. Both of their tackles are out. Yeah. Herbert doesn't look good. That's the game I was thinking. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think it's in Miami. The Chargers are coming from the West Coast. Like we said, I know that's not always a thing, but it's kind of a thing. It's an early morning game on the East Coast. The Dolphins, they've kind of messed up things here and there, but they still got enough talent to win some football games.
Darren Waller, baby.
Yeah, dude. Darren Waller.
Waddle, baby.
Changes that offense because where does Tua like to throw? 8 to 12 yards. And that's where Waller eats. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is, again, I can't understand why they ever traded for Tyreek Hill because him and Tua are like oil and water. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, Darren Waller lives right in the zone where Tua likes to live, and it changes the offense. You could already see it last week. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think the Chargers are in full-on cyclone down mode and just not having their running backs, 2 tackles out. Like, that's just a lot.
It's Miami. It's not a cyclone. It's a hurricane.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where's
fair
your
enough.
meteorology, man?
Yeah, knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah,
there is a real
I was
hurricane.
thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing too. It's
Yeah. Okay, so that one stands out to all of us.
That's
okay?
unanimous right there.
All right, we're calling it upstate. We're going to say that the Dolphins win this game. I love it. And we all say Chargers, Colts, Patriots in the other game, right? Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go on to a more interesting game. Cowboys, Panthers. Now, this might seem like an obvious win for the Cowboys, but I actually really like this matchup. I think like we talked about earlier in the season, Dave, I think the Panthers defense is a little underrated. It was really bad last year, but they got some of their tools back. Yes, they've had some stinkers, but I think they're good enough to where if the Panthers get a turnover in this game, because the Dallas offense looks unstoppable, I'm not going to lie. I feel a little bit better. Again, they did play the Jets, who are terrible, but I feel a little bit better than the fact that Dallas is scoring like 35 on everybody they play. The Packers game doesn't look as bad. So they're probably going to score 30 in this game, but I think the Panthers might get a sneaky turnover. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to control the clock. They're going to be able to throw the ball deep because, Bryce Young, even though he's a small dude, he's actually got a pretty good arm. He can throw the ball downfield halfway decently. He's definitely not Josh Allen or Lamar or any of these guys, right? Or Burrow, but like he can throw the ball decently enough. And with his tall receivers, that's what you want to do on Dallas is test it deep.
And let's also not forget about your favorite running back who you got for me in the offseason two off seasons ago. I'm like, this guy's a little idiot. What am I going to do with Rico Dowdle, who I got from Hype? I'm like, I don't really care about this guy. Here you go. He's a nothing to me. Then you wrote him on Dallas last year. He had a pretty good season for Dallas.
He did.
Dallas decided, we don't really need you. So he goes over to Carolina. Chuba Hubbard has already been ruled out. How did Rico do last week?
35 fantasy points, baby.
Yeah, he got almost 200 yards, right?
Yep. He was a beast.
Dallas's run defense, it's still a work in progress. It's nice that they have Kenny Clark, but it still ain't what it is. So that could be an interesting enough dynamic to it. That could make this a very fun game. Dallas, that they want to say that they're a playoff team. They need to win at least 10 games. They have a rough end of the schedule. So I think this is a game they can't afford to lose. Again, I love that offense, but I think that Carolina could keep this interesting. And I think this will be a really fun game to watch as well.
I think either way, there's going to be a bunch of points. I think every Dallas game this year is going to be fun to watch. I just think they're kind of built like the Bengals were last year, where their defense is useless but makes some plays, and their offense is just super efficient and good. And so for now, I think Dallas is going to be exciting to watch every game. But I really like this Panthers matchup because I still think the Panthers are going to take a step in the right direction this year. I know, again, they've had some stinker games, but they've had some good games. I really want to see if the Panthers show up and make this a game, or if they find a way to win. It's like, okay, these are the teams that, like, if you're in these one-score games, you got to find a way to win. So I want to see if the Panthers have it in them. So, I'm excited for that. Okay, so let's move on to the AFC North, where we got the Browns at the Steelers. Now, this seems like another obvious game, but it's a conference game. The Browns always play the Steelers really tough, and Dillon Gabriel, maybe he's decent. What do we think? Do we think the Steelers have an easy win here, or do we think the Browns could steal one from them? I think the Steelers are going to win in the ugliest way possible, which is the only way they know how. I still am picking Steelers, but I think the Browns make this a game. I think they make a game of it.
You're going to have a game that has two quarterbacks that are just going to do short passing game the entire time, quick short passes. Aaron Rodgers, that's all he's really got left of his noodle. Metcalf had a great game the other week, but I think they're going to utilize the tight ends and lean on that run game. I think Warren was coming off the injury report, so he might be there, but I think that's going to be a tough defense for Aaron Rodgers to go against. Whoever scores 17 points wins this game. And that, again, like you said, Dillon Gabriel, he can score. He might be able to score 17 points against this aging defense. This will not be a fun game to watch. But if if you're blessed with living in Pittsburgh or Cleveland, what else are you going to do? Just sit up and watch it.
Go ahead.
After we saw the Giants just dismantle the Eagles, what's to stop the Browns from doing a similar thing and just having Dillon Gabriel running around, making a few plays? Because they have a really good defense. Their defense better than the Steelers. These Steelers defense isn't that good.
Yeah.
And all the pressure's on the Steelers. All the pressure's on Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, they're in first place. They're in a bad division with it. They should just easily win. All the pressure is on the Steelers. There's no pressure on the Browns whatsoever. It makes for like a really interesting game. And like, I don't know. I could easily see the Browns winning this game right now.
No, this is an interesting factoid. So the Steelers, now that Aaron Rodgers and then in that division, every single quarterback that started for week 1 for the in-conference teams is now off the team or injured. So Lamar's hurt, Burrow's hurt, and Flacco is gone. So all the quarterbacks are different right now in the NFC North, except for old man Rodgers, right? Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous.
It seems like everything's falling in place for the Steelers to go to the playoffs, but I've got a sneaky suspicion one single turnover in this game, especially early in the game from Cleveland, could turn this game on its head, and Cleveland could sneak one out in Pittsburgh, because you can never discount these interdivisional games. Like you just can't. Right. Anybody could win at any time. So I think the Browns are a trap game a little bit for the Steelers right here. All right, Titans Raiders. Who cares?
The worst quarterbacks in the league.
Like, oh my God, please don't watch this game. Moving on. Okay, this game should be good. San Francisco Bucks in Tampa Bay, another West Coast team going to the East Coast. It seems a bit of a theme this week, right? So we could see a lot of crazy games. I think the Bucks just have a weird way of winning games this year, and I think San Francisco does too. So it's like, who gets the weird and wacky win this week?
But this is the fantastic war of attrition game right here. You have the San Francisco 49ers, who are without Kittle, Purdy, Ayuk is still out, of course. CMC is still there. But their other wide receivers are questionable, right? Now you find out this week, verified with Tampa, that they have Godwin, Evans, and Irving. They're all ruled out. You got Baker, so it's going to be a really fun game where it's just going to be coaching matters for this game. And we believe in Shanahan. We believe in the Niners head coach. He's already proven how good he is. And for the Bucks, it's been. Maybe it's not so much coaching. Maybe a part of that is Baker, because he's had the coaching to where now he's the coach out there on the field, and him and Egbuka, that's a blessing. But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic war of attrition right here with two decimated offenses, and it's still going to be a fun ass game to watch.
Honestly, I think if you take away the Super Bowls, which is the Atlanta offensive coordinator and the two San Francisco Super Bowls he lost, like Kyle Shanahan is pretty clearly the second best coach in the NFL behind Andy Reid, right? And those Super Bowl performances have not kind of done anything for his legacy. But I mean, dude, Mac Jones was awful in New England. He was awful when he went to the Jags. And then, surprise, surprise, he's fantastic, right?
No, he wasn't awful. He was actually able to make the number one wide receiver for Jacksonville relevant last year, Brian Thomas Jr.
I mean, to a point, yes. Okay, so awful is maybe a strong word, but like he looked like a career backup, and now he looks like he can start in the NFL because he's in the Shanahan system. Because anyone in the Shanahan system looks like they can be an NFL starter until they go to another team. Yes, I'm talking about you, Jimmy Garoppolo.
And all the media has been talking trash about how Shanahan's not a good coach and he can't win Super Bowls and whatever. And I'm like, dude, bro,
I don't understand that. And like, I can understand San Francisco getting to a point where they're just like, okay, we've had 12 years of great football, but we want to win a Super Bowl. We don't think we're going to win it with Shanahan. Let's move on.
Dougie, bring on your puppy. Let us see the puppy.
Yeah, he just ran away.
The people want to see the puppy.
Show the people's elbow and the puppy. But Shanahan is, to me, clearly without question a top 3 coach in the NFL. And if you don't think so, you just don't pay attention. He can do so much with so little on that offense, and that scheme is great. Oh, there's the puppy.
There's the puppy.
And the puppy's wearing red, which San Francisco Buccaneer red looks like 49er red. I'm picking the 49ers in this game.
I'm going to be an optimist. I'm going to say that's Buccaneer with the black.
Oh, true. Okay, fair enough. Going Buccaneers. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, Bengals and Packers. Let's talk about that later. We're going to talk about that when we get to Packer Bear talk, because I got a lot to say about this game, and I'm terrified about it. So let's go on to maybe the game of the week, the most obvious game of the week that could be great or could be awful. We got Lions at Chiefs. Now, Lions went into Kansas City last year, gave them their one loss of the year, by the way, was against the Lions last year, right? Lions look like they're an unstoppable force yet again, but Kansas City's offense looks like it's back up to speed. Now they did lose to Jacksonville, so it's like, which version of Kansas City are we going to get? Because I got to tell you guys, Patrick Mahomes, still makes a lot of mistakes, still doesn't look like the all-time greatest quarterback that people say he is.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make a mistake in this game, and the Lions just feast on that like Lions do. And I think the Lions go into Kansas City and win. But if they don't, I'll be happy. Dude, I always want the Chiefs to lose, but not this game. I want the Chiefs to win, which is why I know they won't, because we need the Lions to lose. So I definitely think the Lions are going in to win this game. Hype, what do you think?
This is my game of the week. I circled it. This is when we find out, are the Lions a legit, because a lot of people have the Lions as their like number one power ranked team right now because of how all the other teams have looked.
Right.
Because all the other teams have had like bad games or just looked weak at some point. The Lions did the first game, but then since then they've been pretty dang good. And but this is the thing, is the question of Mahomes magic, where he always like, we're down a touchdown, I'm going to come back and make some crazy 80-yard bomb or some dumb thing happen that shouldn't happen. Can the Mahomes magic overcome the Lions' just consistency of being good and being like a team that doesn't make mistakes and stuff? But really, the thing is like Kansas City's defense last year was really good. Maybe the Kansas City's defense can show up and put some pressure on Goff and make him make some mistakes. Maybe Chris Jones and them. This is going to be like a litmus test of like who is a good playoff team and that can make a run maybe.
Yeah, the Kansas City defense, they haven't been what they've been historically for the last 3-4 years. They've floundered quite a bit. They're 2-3 for a reason. Again, part of that's, you don't have all of your weapons on offense, but the other half of that is definitely the defense. Don't get me wrong. Spags is amazing as a coach. But Chris Jones seems like he's an older D tackle, and maybe maybe he's just at the point where he's like, I'm just going to rest for the first half of the season. That don't matter. I'm going to be in playing shape in the second half, which may very well be the case. But I think that the Lions are just going to come in and they're just going to smack them around. The Lions have dominated teams for the last 4 weeks. Like you said, Mahomes magic, and Mahomes, they'll get the magic once they get Rashid Rice back in 2 weeks. But until then, he's playing a little bit shorthanded. He has no running game to rely on. Yeah. So I think Hutchinson's going to be able to pin his ears back, and then he's going to have those linebackers just to help protect him to tackle the running back. So I think this is going to be
Xavier
fantastic
out for the game. Maybe he's missing some of his players.
Yeah. So, all right. So the Lions have beat the Bears, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens when they had Lamar. Don't get me wrong, but the Ravens
none of them are heavyweights.
None of them have good defenses. Well, no, the Browns do. But in that Browns-Lions game, Joe Flacco couldn't wait to throw an interception. He had a multitude of turnovers that basically ruined the game for the Browns multiple times. So,
but the Chiefs have lost to the Chargers, the Eagles, the Jags. They did beat the Giants and the same Ravens. So they don't really have any signature wins either. So I think this is.
I agree. So the Ravens will just throw that one out. So the Chiefs have beat the Giants. Okay.
And that's it.
That was Russell Wilson Giants though. Okay. Totally different Giants team.
And they only scored 22 points.
Yeah. And so the Lions have beaten the Browns and the Bengals, which, no Burrow Bengals. So I don't know. Are the Lions as good as we think they are? They've played some pretty bad defenses. And again, Cleveland is a good defense, but they got a bunch of short fields in that game. And they did still look good, though. So I'm not saying they didn't look good. But I'm curious to see what the Lions do, because I'm kind of with you, Dave. I think they should go in there and put 35 on this defense, 30 to 35 points on this defense. If they don't, for some reason, then maybe it was, who they were playing more than, okay, they're the exact machine that we thought they were. But the Lions have been really good about this, is destroying bad football teams. They are really good at destroying bad football teams. So this is a litmus test too.
And they're good at beating up tight ends. So Travis Kelce, watch out.
Is Kansas City a bad football team? Now, the Lions are missing some guys on defense, especially in the secondary. So I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to put up some points in this game. But is the offensive machine going to take over for the Lions? I'm curious to see that, right?
The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 right now, and they're at home.
Yeah, so it's basically like it's 3 at home, so it's half a point. This is a push game. Yeah, because I don't think anybody knows what to think about Kansas City right now. Are they really good? Is this the norm?
And the Chiefs, I think, are better at home too.
They generally are. I mean, most
But
good teams are.
But yeah, I just don't think that defense is going to be able to handle the offense of the Lions.
Yeah, it seems like it. But
Again, it's going to be up to Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to be the MVP of the game. It won't be Mahomes. It's all on Chris Jones for this game. So
I kind of agree. It's on the Kansas City defense to win this game, if they could win this game. All right, moving on to Monday night games. All right, we'll talk Bears Commanders later because we're going to do our Bears Packer talk. So let's talk Buffalo Atlanta. Now, this seems like an obvious Buffalo win, but I don't think it is. I think Atlanta is going to make this a game, and Buffalo's run defense is atrocious. It's so bad. And what does Atlanta do? They run the ball really well. They don't pass the ball so well. Michael Penix does not look good, and he has kind of disappointed me because I thought he was going to be a lot better. But, dude, they can run the football. So if Atlanta just dominates this game and runs the football and the Bills get one turnover, I mean, they could definitely lose this game. That's basically what happened against the Patriots, right? Drake May did make some good plays, but I don't know if the Bills can stop Bijan, man. I don't know if they can do it because, man, they have gotten run all over every single game. I mean, the Ravens had 240 yards on them, and then the magic happened where they won that game. The Patriots were moving the ball on them. They were doing smart plays, and I worry about the Bills defense finding a way to lose this game. I'm still picking the Bills to win, but I think this is going to be actually a pretty good Monday night game.
And you know who the leading receiver is, don't you, for the Falcons?
Is it London or Kyle Pitts?
Neither.
Bijan.
Is it Bijan?
Yeah, by 1 yard.
Oh, still, yeah.
He has 23 target. He has 270 yards. Drake London has 269.
Fair enough.
Robinson, London, and Pitts all have only one touchdown.
Right.
Which is pretty ridiculous. How you have, Michael Penix. We were excited for what he did at the end of the last season, but yeah, those are the only 3 touchdowns he's thrown. He has 3 picks. Maybe they've, tried to just put a governor on him just because, his accuracy might not be so great. And one thing that we talked about last week about one of the good things about the Bills playing the Patriots was Drake May didn't make dumb plays. He let them stay in the game, knowing that they're going against a good defense. You just allow yourself to hang around. How tight is a collar or how tight is a leash going to be on Michael Penix? Are they just going to say, no, we're just going to try Bijan, try to run this game out, see if we can still be in the fourth? Or are they finally going to say, all right, maybe we'll let this be your breakout game, Penix? So
I think when you're playing Josh Allen, the more you can run the ball, the better. Keep him on the sideline as long as possible. I think running the ball is the best strategy for Atlanta in general. And I think especially against the Bills offense, the longer you can keep Josh Allen on the sideline, the better chance you have to win. That seems like old school mentality, but dude, any team that can pull that off, I mean, the team with Bijan can do it, and like Atlanta's run the ball really well all year. So I think they need to continue. So I'm still picking the Bills though. Hype, what do you think in that game?
Yeah, we have all these trap games. I feel like this is 2025's trap year. You know what I mean? Like every game is a trap game. Doesn't matter. You could be the Falcons and be playing so terrible, and then the next week you could be the Bills. Like, I feel like that's the kind of NFL season we have. Like Richard Goodell is just like counting his money right now, and he's like, yes, every game is exciting. Every game you just don't know anything could happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his cousin Roger is the one who's managing the NFL.
Well, that's true. This game could be really interesting, and it's kind of like we watch games now to figure out, are these teams legit or not? Like, are the Bills legit? Are they actually good? That's kind of what I feel like is happening right now in the NFL. Like, who's going to step up and be an established like front running team? Because everybody's just getting knocked down a peg. Like, what's going to happen when the dust settles? So I could easily see, especially on a Monday Night Football, I could easily see this being an upset. I mean, we saw what happened in the Bills-Patriots game. Like, how in the world did the Bills look so bad in that game?
Just last Friday, guys, we were saying, the Bills and the Eagles got their divisions wrapped up, right? Yeah. We were just last Friday because they were both undefeated. And the Eagles have lost 2 games since then. And it's like, that doesn't look wrapped up to me. I don't know if the Commanders are great. But, I mean, who knows what the Giants could do going forward? Like, I don't know if the Eagles got that division wrapped up anymore. And the Bills, I think, are one injury away from not being a good football team. So I'm a little worried about them, too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
imagine like if Josh Allen, he's running for his life all the time. He could easily be injured in all this running he's doing. Like he's a big guy, obviously. And he's
Well,
running, people stiff arming him.
That's kind of the interesting thing I wanted to talk about is the rookie class that the Falcons got. So they have a defensive minded head coach, right? So in the draft, they went after Jalen Walker, James Pierce. So two smaller edge rushers, right? Because that's always been their Achilles heel. They can't get any pressure on the quarterback. So they get edge rushers, but they're both kind of little fast guys compared to, Josh freaking Allen. So he might be able to just do a stiff arm. But on the back end of that, Xavier Watts, who they took in the third round, the safety out of Notre Dame, he's leading the team in interceptions.
Yeah, I like him.
It's a really interesting class, and I think this is going to help us to see what is the Falcons defense going to be able to do against, because they don't have elite wide receivers, but they have an elite quarterback in Buffalo. So I think that's where it's going to be interesting watching the chess game. But again, like you said earlier, Neckbeard, watching, try to do run control game, as few possessions as possible. But yeah, it's really going to be fun to see how those edge rushers do against Josh Allen. Are they going to be able to break him down, pull him down, or is he going to be able to just break a bunch of tackles, prolong plays? And
yeah, to be fair, Josh Allen can get out of pretty much anybody's tackle. But like, I see what you're saying. I'd much rather have a fast guy that can at least make him adjust or make him do something instead of a big guy he can outrun. Do you know what I mean? So like,
sure.
That's when he's the most dangerous, when he's running out there and he has a clear point of vision to either throw down the field or run. At least if it's a fast guy, he's got to like either stiff arm or adjust so he can't like throw the ball.
Yeah, you want him to come around in his blind spot and like maybe cause a fumble or something when versus like.
But yeah, and that can also be the 1-2 punch where you have the fast guy, so it puts a little bit of pressure. So he throws it, and that's why Xavier Watts is doing so good. That safety with the picks. So
yeah, I think this will be a fun game. Yeah, it'll be a fun game. So we'll be recording when it's on, obviously. So we'll have some thoughts about it then. But yeah, this is, dude.
I'm not going to be watching that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch it. Screw the Bears. No, okay. So that is this week so far, I think, is my favorite slate of games that I've seen so far, because we're in week 6, and I think we have no idea who the best teams are really still right now, right? And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I'm glad the Eagles are stinking it up, and the Bills look like they don't know what they're doing, and the Broncos maybe are good, maybe not. I don't know. So like, yeah, this is why it's been so fun this year, because there has been so many.
Can I just do a natural transition there?
Sure.
I also think you're really excited about this week is because you're like, okay, this time we actually do have a cupcake coming on, so we should definitely win this game if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. So
we'll get into that.
Joe Flacco this time.
No, I don't think we will, and we will get into that later, because I am not sure about that game at all. But the thing we're going to do now is we're actually going to do fantasy forward. So I'm going to pop it over to you, Dave. We're going to talk about fantasy guys that we want to talk or maybe pick up this week. Take it away, sir.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So this is kind of the fun part of the season where we have a little bit of data. We have a little bit over a month. And so we're starting to see some of the injuries, wide receivers, running backs, and whatnot. So there might be some guys out there on the waiver wire that maybe some people drafted and they dumped them a little bit early. They've already given up faith. Other people out there excited about. And it's kind of figuring out where in your roster construction, what do you really need? Are you a team that should be, maybe you're a bottom half team who's still hoping to be in the playoffs. You just want to get to a 500 record, but you have a tough matchup. So maybe you just want, okay, what's a good dart throw for me? So what's somebody good that I can pick up this week and the next week maybe? Or maybe you're a contender who's like, okay, maybe I can look for someone who I can just kind of stash right now who's not getting or who's out there on the waivers. I don't need him right now like a Colston Loveland, but maybe I want to hold on to him for the second half. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. So from that standpoint, do you have anyone that you're looking at hype?
Well, I mean, as far as anybody on the Giants offense right now could be somebody, if you're in like a deep league, like 12 teams or something, like the Shepard who just got hurt, the Giants tight ends, Jackson Dart might be running around and getting a lot of yards for this offense. So if you're just like on the waiver wire and desperate, somebody from the Giants offense could be good. But the big obvious thing is that Joe Flacco is now going to the Bengals. So like the Bengals players have been doing terrible on offense, right? The wide receivers, the running backs. So that might be a trade target for somebody. I'm praying though, because we have them on our fantasy team. We have Chase and we have Chase Brown,
And Jamar Chase,
the running back, and I also have some other those guys on my teams, and I'm hoping that Flacco can like instill some liveliness back into this offense, or the other way around. If you think Flacco's terrible, but you think this could get people excited, you could trade away a Jamar Chase or a Brown, and hopefully, with this excitement and maybe at the peak, because maybe Flacco runs this offense in the ground. Who knows? It's really difficult to say.
Yeah, don't trade Jamar Chase if you're in a dynasty league, though. Only in a single season. No, like don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, but dude, no, that's a good one. I like it. And speaking of Giants players, Doug, Wan'Dale Robinson, who Dave's favorite wide receiver because he's 5'6". Had a great game, 7 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown with no Malik Neighbors. So get him. I told you guys, go pick him up. Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants. So Giants players definitely good. And on top of that, Doug, I'll talk about another guy that you should go pick up for the rest of the year. I had him on one of my fantasy teams, and I dropped him to pick up another player, and I 100% regret it now. Go get Darren Waller. He's going to get a ton of targets from Tua. He is going to go get a ton of targets from Tua. Go get Darren Waller. It's only for this year. Maybe he plays next year. Don't expect him to even play 16 games. He's probably could play 7 games and get hurt, okay? Because that's what Darren Waller does. But for the next 6 or 7 weeks, tight end position is one of the hardest.
He might be tight end 1. The last 2 weeks he was.
He could very possibly be tight end 1, 2, or 3 in the next 6 or 7 weeks, and then eventually get hurt and never play again or whatever. But dude, for the next couple weeks,
tight end 1 over the last 2 weeks.
No, Ferguson is Barry Alvarez Jr. My guy, Barry Alvarez Jr. He was my backup. But go get Darren Waller if you haven't already. If he hasn't been picked up in your league, please go get Darren Waller. He is an absolute must pick up in that Dolphins offense because Tua is going to feed him like crazy. You'll see.
Because Tua can only throw it 20 yards maximum. So you got
to I'm saying that's where Darren Waller is all the time, right? 15 yards, 10 to 15 yards. That's where he lives. So definitely go pick up Darren Waller. And I'll let Dave tell you how good Rico Dowdle is. He kind of talked about it. If you haven't picked up Rico Dowdle already, go do it. Because he's, Dave traded him to me for a sandwich. And it was totally worth it. Totally worth it at this point. All right, Dave, who's on your radar this week?
For me, last week I gave Torrey Horton just because somebody to pick up. Maybe he'll only get 4 catches, a touchdown. He got 4 catches and a touchdown, not a lot of yards. This week I kind of like to go for. I like to just look for the plug and play, just for 1 week. And again, this is a Hail Mary, but Green Bay is projected to have one of the highest team implied totals this week. They're going against the Bengals defense. They're without 2 wide receivers. But I think why not give Dontavian Wicks a try? He's actually catching the ball and holding on to it now. Before the season, I saw some of the articles on Lombardi Avenue and other Packer websites were like, Dontavian Wicks, he's on the Devontae Adams path where the first 3 years he sucks because he can't hold on to anything, and maybe this will be it. Obviously, that's not the case. But why not give him a shot? If you need, if you're in a tough matchup, if you think, okay, my team's hurt, some of the guys are hurt, or some of the players are hurt, other people are underperforming, I just need a Hail Mary in the flex position. Why not go for someone who can possibly get a 6-yard touchdown to get you to like 12, 13 points again? So again, he's not going to get 4 catches like Horton, but maybe he can still get you 11 the dirty way, and maybe 11 points is all that you're really looking for.
Well, he also has to show out this week because Christian Watson's coming back, so he's got to be like, this is my week to shine.
This is his time is running out, so this is a fantastic time to do it.
They'll still be using them. There'll just be more wide receivers around. But Christian Watson could come back this week. We have no idea. It could be 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, but that's hard to say. And Golden's getting on the field more. And to be fair though, Dave, I agree with you. I think Wicks has been very reliable this year, right? Yeah. I think he's been very reliable. Like, I don't think the wide receivers have been any problem.
They've actually played pretty well this year. Even Hughes has been doing.
And the offense, other than the Cleveland game, the offense has been really, really good, right? So let's see if it continues. It better continue. Speaking of that, let's talk about the Packers and the Bengals because I am terrified of Joe Flacco, and I never thought I'd say that.
2-0. 2-0.
Why don't we get to play Browning in his 3 freaking turnovers a game? I was just complaining about how we never get turnovers on defense, and Browning gives them like candy to everybody, and they're like, we're playing the Packers. We better get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has 1 game this year without a turnover, guys. Guess who it was against? The Green Bay Packers. Yeah. And okay, I take it back. He did have a turnover. He threw that interception to X at the end of the second half, but that did nobody any good. There was 2 seconds left. And if X had batted it down, we might have been able to kick a field goal. So it was not a good interception. It didn't hurt anything. So Joe Flacco played fine against us. He didn't do well, but he did enough, and he did enough because our offense didn't show up. And now he's got all these weapons on the Bengals. Dude, what does Joe Flacco have to lose? He could just go throw 40-yard bombs to Chase all day long, and Chase is going to catch 2 or 3 of those. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just is. Just throw it up there. And so it's going to be up to the Packers defense. We need to get 2 turnovers on defense this game, because I guarantee you Joe Flacco doesn't know the offense. He doesn't know the schemes. He doesn't know what's going on. And that sounds like it's to our advantage. It is not, because he's just going to throw bombs all day to those wide receivers. And
he's
I'm
a very savvy quarterback.
Nice thing is
he's really smart. He can run an offense really well. So yeah, he's probably like, what do I got to lose? I have 2 amazing wide receivers.
Yeah.
Huge upgrade. I'm just going to sling it.
Why, is T hurt? T Higgins hurt?
No, Chase is questionable.
What? That hurts our fantasy. Better take him out, Doug.
Oh, no.
Does anyone have a cheese sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich? We'll take him for Jamar Chase in our.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Our fantasy
team is on life support. We're in the hospital right now. We have no pulse.
The Joe Burrow experiment has ruined our entire fantasy team. We're like, we're going to get the stack. We're going to get Brown and Jamar Chase. And we're like, yeah, the Bengals offense. And then it's just like.
Then we're also going to go for the record-breaking tight end in Las Vegas, because Gino's not going to.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bowers, too, is not looking good.
And he has an illness. Does he have like the flu or something? What the heck's going on over there?
Anti-Flacciitis. He doesn't want Joe Flacco throwing him the ball.
So that definitely does help the chances for Green Bay, because one of the things is, we saw against Dallas where he had a smart quarterback and he just exploited your week number 2. And the nice thing with the Bengals is they would have had 2 elite wide receivers. So who's ever on that side of Valentine, you just go after him all day long, and then you'll be able to get yards. But if you're down to only 1 wide receiver, you won't be able to exploit it. And obviously Flacco's not elite anymore, but I think, it's and it helps your chances substantially.
Now, the Browns offensive line isn't great, but we didn't really show up very much in that game, and the Bengals offensive line is terrible. So if we don't get to Flacco a bunch in this game and force turnovers or whatever, I'm going to be seriously concerned. I still think the Packers are going to win this game, but much like the Dallas game, guys, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I'm picking a close win, and if we turn the ball over at a bad time, just like we did against the Browns, like, we could lose.
I think what's going to happen is
I'm worried about turnovers.
I think it'll be kind of too close for our comfort, but I think Micah Parsons will save the day. He'll make some kind of strip sack, and we'll be like, thank God we have at least somebody on our team that can make a play.
Can I make a bet with you, Neckbeard?
Yeah. What is it?
Okay, Green Bay over under is 9.5. Is what I'm going to put it between me and you.
Okay.
And then if they win by more than 9.5, then every morning when we're at the renting the house for the Bears Packer game, you run your ass out to Quick Trip and you get me a big ass coffee every morning.
And if they win by less than 9,
then I'll bring you and Hype Donuts or whatever the hell you want from the hot zone. I love
okay. All right. All right.
And
you know the hot tub rule, right?
Cooking.
Right?
Hot tub? Yeah, no one needs to see me in a hot tub.
Yeah, you know the hot tub rule. No ants, no pants, no coconut dance. But all right. So listen,
Green Bay is going to be fine if Chase is out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like -5. I don't think anybody's getting in the damn hot tub, but we'll see. All right, so we'll just do coffee. You buy coffee every day, or I buy coffee every day. So we're going to make a bet, right? Okay, so I think we're going to win by like 4 or 5. You say we're going to blow them out. So I hope you're right. I will happily buy you coffee for a blowout. I will happily buy you a coffee for a blowout. And if I'm right, then you buy it. Okay,
every morning.
Deal. Right. Yeah, every morning. I get it. All right, agreed. Every morning. Done. Deal. All right, so let's go to your team. Let's talk about the Bears Commanders.
Interesting.
Revenge game.
Before we go to the Bears, one thing.
Okay.
The reason that Derek might be right is the Packers' offensive line might have Ryan Clark off the street, or like Joe Blow might be playing left tackle for them. So they might have a little bit of issues on offense because their offensive line is like everyone's hurt.
Yeah. I trust our offense, but again, one
You got Trey
turnover
Hendrickson back there.
or one bad play or one bad decision by us because our defense hasn't been causing turnovers and because they haven't been making big plays and because we've had terrible field position in every single game because we're not making turnovers, it can if the Bengals hang around in the game, that's when I get worried that Joe's just going to say F it and chuck it up to Chase, and Chase will make a play because he's Jamar Chase. Do you know what I mean? So that's my worry. But all right, we'll see. I hope Dave is right.
Stewart's listed as doubtful right now.
All right, I hope Jamar Chase doesn't play either, but we'll see.
Oh no, Shamar Stewart, the defensive end, he's doubtful.
Oh, also Shamar Stewart,
the rookie that they drafted.
Okay, this is going to hurt even more if the Bengals end up winning because it's just like the Dallas game without CD. It's like, we don't got Joe Burrow, we don't got Jamar Chase.
But you know those obnoxious people that hate pumpkin spice coffee and pumpkin spice everything?
Yeah,
you're gonna get me. I want Quick Trip's pumpkin spice in the extra large, not in the Packer cup. They have the other type that's doesn't have that god awful.
Definitely in the pack. No, that is not a stipulation. I get to pick the cup. You can have coffee. I get to pick the cup. No stipulation on cup requests. No, denied. Denied. You're getting a Packer cup.
I am and supporting my own friends.
Fair enough. All right, you're getting a Packer cup. All right, let's talk about the Bears.
Let's talk about the fun game. The Monday night game, the second one, that's really going to be a blast. It's going to be the revenge game that, last year everyone was excited from the Bears standpoint. They're like, hey, our offense is doing good. But at the same point, if you really step back and looked at it, we beat teams that really sucked. We didn't really have any signature wins. We beat Bananarama from the Tennessee Titans. He gave us the game with a really dumb pick at the end of the game. So we didn't really do anything substantial last year. Now, this year, you can say it's pretty much the same. We got our asses handed to us by the Lions, but now we're kind of right in the ship. Caleb Williams, his stats are looking a lot better. Last year, his sack rate was 10.8% as a sack rate. So far this season, we refueled the offensive line, and now the sack rate is only 5.1%. So he's only taken half the number of sacks, which is beneficial. The run game still isn't there. Rome has had a fantastic season, as everyone knows. Our rush defense is god-awful. It used to be back in the day you could rely on us and being able to stop the other team's run. Let's see. Rush yards per game allowed by the Bears through week 5 was 164.5.
Whoa.
Who had a really good week last week? Was it Bill?
It was Bill Jakrowski Merritt. He had a great week.
Old Bill.
Yeah, he had a really good week.
And you got Jay and Daniel. So I think that's going to be a fantastic way for them to exploit it. So I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun for this game because the rushing attack of the Commander, and the way that they've been able to utilize Deebo Samuel is going to be great to see. How does our defense? Dennis Allen, we signed him so that way. He's traditionally been a great defensive coordinator. His defenses have always been great. Obviously, it takes a while to get your guys and whatnot to try to line them up, get the guys that you need to run your defense. Maybe he hasn't had the time yet, but I'd like to think that he'd be able to adjust right now. But going against a weapon like Jaden Daniels, the guy who a lot of people in Chicago at the end of last year, like, man, we could have had him. Maybe they're starting to wait. Oh, wait, the coach does matter now that we have a quarterback and with an intelligent head coach. Now that we have Declan Doyle, 29-year-old offensive coordinator who's athletic, did a fantastic article on him. Maybe we're starting to see some of the stuff. So it's going to be a really interesting game. Again, for those of you who are looking for not somebody to plug and play this year from a fantasy football standpoint, Colston Loveland, he's out there in a lot of leagues. In redraft leagues, pick him up now. He won't be used for another 2-3 weeks, but I think that if he's going to be healthy this week, might take him a couple weeks getting to form, but he's the rookie. He should be fantastic, even though Doug can show you the picture of when we drafted him and I had a what the kind of face.
Yeah,
but the coaching's turned around the offense. I think our defense isn't our defense is going to be very suspect. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be nuts. I'm not going to be able to provide too much content on Monday night. I'm going to be making all sorts of this, that, and the other. But I think it's going to be a fun game for everyone, and I'm not looking forward to going to work on Tuesday morning.
The Commanders are the number one rushing team in the league right now.
Yep. And I think we're the third worst. We allow a league worst 6.2 yards per rush.
Ouch, man. Jeez. I mean, I knew your defensive line wasn't good, but that's really bad. 6.2 yards per rush is really bad.
And we're still without Grady Jarrett again. We gave a lot of
Yeah.
money to an old D tackle.
I like Grady Jarrett too, but yeah, he was like a 1 year solution anyway. So like, you know, and you guys knew that, but I just think it's interesting because this is the battle of the number 1 and number 2 picks, right, from the same draft. So it's really fun just on that. And Jayden definitely looks better. I mean, there's no question, nobody questions that. Caleb has looked good the last 2 weeks, so I want to see if Caleb continues to look good against this defense, because this defense is a bunch of veterans. Like, they are old and slow, but they're not dumb, and they make plays and they don't get beat in certain ways, which is, I think, a big reason why they were so good last year. And they're starting to look good. The Commanders have looked pretty good the last 2 weeks, so they're kind of on a roll. And I think this is not the best time to play them for the Bears. So I worry a little bit based on what you said, Dave, about the running game and just how this offense is starting to really start to chug along, that the Commanders might come in and smoke them a little bit. I think they might end up winning by 2 scores. So I'm definitely picking the Commanders, and I think it's going to be not a super high scoring game, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be like 27 to 17 is kind of what I'm looking at.
I think this is a game that Caleb Williams shows he's better than Daniels.
What?
Jaden Daniels?
You think Caleb shows out in this game?
Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels, people have figured out his Achilles heel. I have no idea what that is, but he's just not as good as he was last year.
I mean, he was hurt. He's been fine when he played against.
I just think that, like, this is going to be just like the Eagles Giants. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Williams is going to run around. Oh, 6-1.
Why were the Lions able to kick our ass? They had a slot wide receiver who was dynamic over the middle, who Stevenson couldn't keep up with.
Debo,
and they had a strong run game.
Yeah.
What does Washington kind of have right now?
Yeah, the same
strong
thing.
Game.
They have the same. And Ertz is good for picking up those 5-yard passes, for first downs, just keeping the chains moving. But I also don't think that they won't have as many big chunk plays. Right. So that's why I think it'll be a high scoring game. There won't be large 40-yard passes or whatnot. There won't be 40-yard runs. But that's why I think that Caleb has a chance to stay in the game. I think we have enough wide receivers and whatnot, so that way we'll be able to take advantage. Run routes right behind the linebackers.
Right.
Rome has thrived in the 12 to 18-yard zone. I think he'll be able to do that behind the linebackers of the Commanders. Sorry. I think it's going to be a fun game. I want to say we'll win, but I really don't think we will.
The Commanders' defense is not as good as people give it credit for. Nope. They're ranked near the bottom.
It's not great. No, it's not great.
They give up a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
This is the game you on fantasy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the game can be close to the end, maybe a little bit, and then, like, it depends which quarterback can make some magic up here. But you're right. If I had to bet money, I would bet on Deebo Samuel and Bill maybe doing that. But hey, you never know.
Ertz is going to have the dagger in the last 4 minutes.
Receiver.
Well, I also think the Bears defense is very turnover reliant because they can't stop the run. Stopping drives is difficult for the Bears, and they've had some games where they've gotten some really big turnovers or interceptions. I believe the Bears are actually number 2 in interceptions this year caused, right? I think they've got 6 or 7 or something like that. So I think that's a big thing that the Bears defense needs. And unfortunately for the Bears, the Commanders don't turn the ball over, like, at all. And they haven't all year. Jayden has 0 interceptions, and I think they've lost 1 fumble all year. So the Bears are going to need to take the ball away from Jayden and the Commanders to win this game. They're going to have to find a way to do it. So I really think that's the only way the Bears defense can stop them because, like you said, their run defense is bad.
The Bears are third in takeaways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've had a ton. They've had a ton this year, and it's been really good. In the Dallas game, it was huge, obviously, right? Against the Browns, they had a couple. So, I think Jayden, if he plays a clean game and they just run the football, I think the Commanders got too much for the Bears right now. But I am curious to see what Caleb does against this defense, right? I am curious to see what he does. Because like you guys said, they're not a great defense, but they're not a terrible defense by any means. And they're more of a bend, don't break kind of defense because, they do have some savvy vets that are old and slow, But again, they don't make a ton of mental mistakes and they don't hurt themselves necessarily.
Right.
Like some defenses we know out there. Green Bay. So yeah, I think this could be a really good game, but some part of me thinks that the Commanders are just kind of like right now the best versions of themselves because they also don't really have, other than the running backs, a ton of injuries, but it doesn't matter since Bill looks so good. So yeah, I think Commanders in this one. I'm saying 27-17 Commanders is my pick for that game. And then the Packer game, I'm saying
the lines.
Yeah, sorry.
27-24.
27-24. Okay. Okay.
We're gonna get more than 17. We got Rome.
You got Rome.
Yeah, Rome with
You do.
Next year we might get a running back. Who knows?
I think that's dependent on if you get a short field for Caleb. If he gets 2 or 3 short fields in the game because of turnovers, I bet you guys do score 27 points. If he doesn't and the Commanders don't turn it over.
No, we're gonna get to 24. I didn't say that we'd win.
Right. But I'm just saying I don't think you'll get to 20 without like short fields for Caleb. I think
look, we need DeAndre Swift fantasy points, guys. So I'm saying 35 points by the Bears.
Okay. Well,
the guy who averages 30 rushing yards a game.
Yeah. I think our Tom Grassi fantasy league we can just give up on because now
we're
that
toast on that.
we had the number 1 pick, so we took Jamar, and the second round
and
pick
then we took Chase Brown.
Yeah, so like, and the second guy took Saquon. So like, if you picked early in your single year NFL draft, fantasy draft, you're probably boned right now, like we are, because Chase and Saquon have not been great. And I don't think that's going to change for Chase with the quarterback situation. And like Dave said with Saquon, like all those carries last year, we kind of saw that coming, or Dave predicted it. He did a great job. I don't think Saquon's going to get close.
Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, he had last year. Derrick Henry's a bit of a phenomenon, though. I mean, he's just such a massive.
Well, he's just part of the collapse of the Ravens. All the Ravens.
Yeah.
But still, he had a lot of carries, and he's fantastic when the Ravens are in the game or they have the lead, which happened a lot last year. We didn't imagine that their offense would fall off this bad.
Yeah,
because once you're behind, you can't have him on the field because
I think it's a mental collapse for the Ravens because their defense was so bad, and like that's their culture. And Lamar always made plays, and they could run the ball. And then the Buffalo game screwed them up. And then they played the Chiefs, and they totally just fell apart. Lamar gets hurt, and then the Texans come in and just boat race them. So like, I think it's all mental for Baltimore right now. I still think they're a very good offense, but I just don't think they know what they're doing at the moment. So, yeah. But anyway, we got way off track. Go Washington Commanders. So that's how I'm ending this. I am so glad the Bears didn't draft Jaden Daniels. Bye-bye.